Since we are remembering the Hurricane Helene's visit to southern Appalachia this weekend, I would like to share my fictional account of a major flood in these mountains, which appeared in my trilogy, Legend of Lovada Branch, Book 3, Woollyshot Ridge. I assure you, I wrote that before Helene dropped in on us. I am not a prophet, and I don't take credit for foresight. But floods are not uncommon in this area. In my story, an earthquake weakened a major dam on what I call the Forever River. The main characters in the Legend of Lovada Branch are a 30th couple, Kyle and Wren Makepeace, parents of 3-year-old twins. The Makepeace family had survived the flood by racing up to their camper on Woollyshot Ridge. But the next morning, Kyle approached Wren. "I hate to bring this up, but I believe we should go back down to Laurel Spring, where everything was either washed away or ruined. I saw members of the Cherokee Nation already bringing everything they could over the mountain and helping to locate survivors. All the elders of the cove were also trekking into Laurel Spring." As the Makepeace family drove toward the village, Kyle grabbed Wren's hand. "Honey, I somehow forgot to tell you that our house was also lost because the flood washed out the bank beneath it." Wren stared in wordless dismay at the empty air where their cozy home had once perched. Not knowing what to say, Kyle waited while his woman processed the loss of almost everything they had cherished. Her eyes filled with tears as she pressed one hand against her mouth, choking back a wail. "All gone," she whispered. "But what if the twins and I had been waiting there for you, Kyle? Would the twins and I still be alive?" But here we are. Lots of other folks have lost more than their homes. Kyle nodded. "We need to find out if any outside help has reached the folks in Laurel Spring. It would have been the last site to be hit by the big surge that came from the dam's collapse. It's likely that bodies will be washing up there. Once past those shallows, however, bodies could just wash down to the reservoir in Tennessee and be lost forever. Folks from upriver will be coming looking for their missing kin down this way. I left there last evening, and I saw that the cove elders were already fishing out bodies." When their truck halted above the ravaged village site, Wren cried, "It looks like a war zone." Her heart clenched as she took in how little was left of the town he knew. But already neighbors were there, moving about purposefully, dispensing air, aid, and care. Elders from the cove sat with shocked folks, talking quietly and offering cups of calming teas. Kyle headed over to what looked like an administrative center, where the sheriff was bent over a laptop, set on the cement foundation of the former jail. "What have you learned?" Kyle asked, fearing what he would hear. The weary sheriff admitted that the lower part of the county seat of Lashton was washed out. He added, "All the villages along the Drovers Road bordering the river are completely gone. Only a few people escaped, but they have nothing to go back to. They are turning up here where they can find food and hopefully some kin, either dead or alive. Sadly, they can help name some of the bodies we are pulling up onto the shore." Wren nodded. "I noticed that there was a medical tent set up. Let's check over there." Triage was still in process, as EMS-trained folk assessed the incoming people, deciding who needed immediate attention from a medical team that was already working with injured people, setting bones, stitching wounds, and, where necessary, performing surgeries. "Where have these medics come from?" Kyle marveled. "Most of us came over from Cherokee," a weary nurse responded. "We brought all the supplies we had on hand, but we sure could use more. The trained sisters from the Cove have brought their whole pharmacy of herbal treatments. I must admit, they do work amazingly well." Kyle took Wren's elbow. "It's time, Wren," he urged, walking her over to the morgue, where dazed individuals ambled among the recovered bodies, searching, but not searching, for lost family members. The majority of the dead were Hispanic, since most of them had lived close to the Forever River and had little or no warning on the wall of water released when the earthen dam upriver failed. Kyle's mind began racing. How can we record the stories that survivors are sharing? Can someone take photos of the unnamed dead who might be recognized later? Glancing about, he noticed that a mass grave was being dug out above the waterline of any future flooding. A vision tumbled through his head. How about having this gravesite laid out with an eye to beauty, to creating a sort of memory garden that honors both the known and the unknown dead? Wren's eyes sparkled with tears. "Let's spread that idea. Maybe we can turn some of our own shock and grief into something worth remembering." Kyle asked, "Shouldn't we wait until life gets back to normal?" "Normal?" questioned an elder. "You mean like it used to be?" "There's no hope of that now. Something new is on the horizon, boy, and you will have your part to play in it. Things have changed, and too much has been lost. Those who are left have to start picking up what pieces we find useful and begin building a new world." Kyle pondered the challenge. "Are you saying that we just can't rebuild what we've lost? That all of us who have survived are so changed that what we once had or believed in is no longer enough? The woman nodded her gray head. We must learn a lot more about saving and serving one another, giving up what we once believed was the only right order so that we can discern new ways. I dare say holy ways of living and being in this world that will halt the rape of the world. Think of what we are witnessing here. A wry smile crossed Kyle's face. Is it any wonder that the motto of the Three Musketeers has been bouncing around in my head, all for one and one for all? Are you saying that mercy and compassion must overcome our drive to get ahead? Overcome the greed that blinds us to the needs of other folks? Can we stop acting like we own the world, stop condemning others, and instead do our best to understand them? Mighty big ifs. Kyle's voice trailed off as the vision of a new world order overwhelmed him. It can begin in small ways, in small groups, the elder cautioned, but it requires dreamers, for nothing changes unless courageous souls first dream it, plant a few seeds, or perhaps be the seed. Kyle felt dazed. Where or how does such radical living begin? Suddenly, he stopped watching folks transporting bodies to the mass gravesite and just pitched in. A woman was sketching the burial site, marking sections by numbers and name, if known, on a large sheet of paper that would eventually be set into a bronze plaque. And the names of the missing would not be forgotten either, but would be etched on a matching plaque. Children were scouring the woods for wildflowers to scatter over the bodies before the earth was shoveled gently over them. Teenagers spent their energy digging wild plants that would bloom over the graves in seasons to come. Other young people were carefully transplanting saplings of the many flowered trees and shrubs that covered the mountain slopes of southern Appalachia. Wren's vision of a peaceful, prayerful sanctuary was already taking place. The Cherokee began chanting their traditional burial rites, and a gray-haired man gently strummed his guitar. Mourners began tossing ritual handfuls of earth into the grave site as the guitarist lifted his mellow voice and began singing a song he played at many a funeral, the beloved poem Crossing the Bar by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Others gradually joined in on the chorus. Twilight and evening bell, and after that, the dark. May there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar.